By the way, I think we have a match. Myriad versus Don Artie. We already have a draft. We already have an initial matchup on Gorge.
I'm so excited.
Are you still liking Gorge?
I love Gorge. I lost a few games just before we started casting on Gorge, and it did hurt my little ego. But Gorge is a great map. You just need to not select all army at the same time every time. It's a map that is there for the splits. You're supposed to be raiding in two sides. You're supposed to be doing more than one thing at a time. But Myriad and Don Artie also pretty closely matched, I would say. I know that Myriad trying to also do AoE full-time. Don Artie is the meme of the community. So both of these players are quite strong, steadfast people that we have. And Myriad also being one of our favorite casters to bring into things. So I feel like Don Artie is, however, going to be in a pretty good position with Order of the Dragon in general. Zushi, probably one of the civilizations that could deal with most of their units quite well. But I feel like Order of the Dragon does have a lot of advantages in general now.
Really, in this matchup? Because I feel like, okay, honestly, I think China and Zushi are the strongest civs right now in this meta, in this moment. And I've seen Myriad in the show match show two amazing and extremely one-sided Zushi victories.
Really? Oh, this is his comfort pick.
I'm expecting good. I mean, it's pretty much everyone's comfort pick right now. It's really good at most anything it does. You can do almost anything, and it's gonna be decent with Zushi. By the way, speaking of, we have Myriad in the northeastern corner. We've got Don Artie in the southwest. OTD versus Zushi on Gorge.
Are we gonna see the first game without a mind work? That's what I'm wondering about, and I really hope we get to see a little bit of our Chappelle so we can see if it's viable. I would really like to tell Don Artie to tell us, can we still go Chappelle, or is mine work the only landmark we'll be seeing from Order of the Den today? So with Myriad on Zushi, though, we know that he's going to need a very juicy spot for the meditation gardens. And I think they're in the northern corner. That does look quite juicy. A few woodlines, a gold there. So I'm excited to see where he places that thing down. And we do get a chapel, ladies and gentlemen. The first one of the day.
There's your Japel. Are you excited? Are you happy?
Yeah, I want to see how he plays this so that I can learn and do it myself. Now, Don Artie with 12 sheep and Myriad with 16, I assume, based on the graph we see in front of us. The colors are a little bit messed up because Cal is colorblind. Thank you, Mr. Cal. And that now we have that clarity. Beautiful color changes, though. Damn. Oh, and that is also a juicy spot.
Oh, that's a very nice garden there. If the wolf does not interfere, we're just gonna ignore that guy. Maybe it's gonna eat one of us. It's fine. He's dying for the cause.
Oh no. If this... Okay. Never mind, Myriad. The English-Hungarian man is ready for this. He knows about wolves. He knows how to counter them. He's from Hungary after all. I don't know if they have wolves because I'm not from Hungary. Oh, they do. Okay, so we'll just stay with that. So the Hungarian man knows how to treat wolves, and he took him down in that moment. He doesn't let him bite for too long. Now, Meditation Gardens, it's going to be nice. It's going to be nice to have those passive resources. I don't know if it surrounds the stone as well, but it will have a little bit of passive gold behind this, especially when you're going for that many Jugenus that we usually see from Zushi in Mapiquat Nas. But first things first, we're going to get professional scouts, right, ladies and gentlemen, or are we going to spice things up?
We're not going to spice things up. We're going to go pro scouts on Zushi. The question is Don Artie going to go pro scouts, or is he going to go feudal aggression? I'm expecting to see feudal aggression with pro scouts.
Pro scouts are standard. I don't think you have a choice about that anymore, but we do have a choice on when we go pro scouts. So with getting that mill early on, the mill is usually indicative of getting the pro scouts pretty quickly. So now with the Chappelle, he is going to have that little bit of gathering boost too, which is so nice for them to have. And we see that Don Artie just missing a little bit of resources to start gathering that. Stable also coming down from Myriad here. So, pro scouting. What a surprise, guys. Wow.
Wow. Innovative. Amazing. Huge.
Wow.
Anyway, Myriad needs 5 more gold. And look, it's pro scouts.
Oh my gosh, that's such a cool choice. Wow.
We should not be as ironic about this. It's a really good choice, and it makes for a lot of high APM and high attention gameplay. It's still just a little bit too good.
Problem is now for Don Artie, he isn't able to match the speed, right? Because we know that Zushi just has better research speed because they can supervise the mill and it just researches faster. He gets more scouts. So he knows he needs to get horses. So he's getting 2 horsemen now. And they're going to try to shut down these scouts. But keeping in mind, 2 horsemen can only cover 2 deer packs. And unfortunately, there's a lot of scouts. So Myriad might lose a scout or 2 in the meantime. But going for a horseman of his own, I don't know if this horseman is going to be able to fight anything much. He probably just needs to.
Yeah, I mean, this is just... I'm actually quite surprised that he's not investing into spears just yet, and instead going for another horseman, because he cannot fight the OTD ones. It's just not in the cards. But yeah, grabbing his home deer first, just to be safe, and I'm kind of still waiting for that supervision of the barracks. Here's the first spearman. And Chad Horseman arrives and takes... No, the village is close enough.
Yeah, that was a very, very close call, though, because just getting the villager that low means that you're going to be able to take it down pretty quickly. Because with that villager, you're just going to be 1 charge and a hit away from losing it. So he's going to need to be very careful. And that's the problem with Order of the Dragon. They just have that ability to control the pace of the game like that. The spearman now getting good damage here on Order of the Dent. That is a forgotten horse, and the spearman in Dark Age is doing his best. The horseman does decide to back up, though, and at the same time, the other horseman is here to support, but another one is there. Apparently, the horsemen were a really great idea.
Yeah. Trades out the horse for the horse, which is amazing for Zushi in that regard. And Don Artie only has 1 military unit left, and he, behind this, is looking to go fast castle, while Myriad is still investing into this feudal play.
I feel like with Don Artie going for castle, it doesn't really matter what he goes for. He has enough food to do this. So because he's getting professional scouts, he's going to be able to bring some stuff back. He's going to be able to make a few units. But I don't know if he's going to be able to make enough to deal with the amount of units that Myriad can pump out here. Now, I would love to see where those professional scouts are and whether they're able to pick some stuff up, because that's what I base my he has enough food on. I say that, and at the same time he's going for archers now, so those guys are going to be able to deal with the spears, but they're going to struggle against the horses. Now, he is making 2, and the rest of them seems to be invested into going to castle.
Yeah, he's going for the archers just because they're super wood heavy and not cost a lot of food.
And they're really nice to have, because once you have those archers, they fire so fast, and they're Order of the Dragon archers. They're pretty good against most things. But Don Artie is risking.
Someone's moving villagers out on the map to take food. I love it. Yeah, he's going for the boar right there. It's a good play. It is a little bit scary because, well, Myriad has more units out, but Don Artie going for up to 4 OTD archers should be able to hold. But, you know, when I said Don Artie's going castle while Myriad is not even going anywhere in that direction, it is Tang Dynasty and it is Zushi's legacy Gavarates. Well, Shaolin Monastery is coming up with 7 vills. That's going to be a real quick castle.
And getting that type of castle here is just forcing your opponent to respond too, because you know that Zushi has the option to go for the Shaolin Monastery. He has the option to go get the relics. And Don Artie is like, I'm not going to do the relic fight. I'm just going to do the fight. And that's exactly why he's going for the Burgrave. You have cheaper units. He doesn't have a lot of food. I was completely wrong. Apparently the scouts are completely shut down here. And Myriad is just too good at stopping those deer from being picked up. Look at that. He's just chasing them down. Scouts in shambles right now. And Don Artie knows this. He needs the cheapest thing he can find, and he's aging up with 14, which is... I'm not a good with numbers, but that's a very big number this early on in the game. Oh, and another victim.
Okay, and here comes the returning army of Don Artie, but I don't think the numbers are in his favor here, even with the super archers. Yeah, archers are gonna be taking out the spears though, but Myriad can just leave. And decides to trade out for the archer there.
Now, I think it's also a way Myriad might be sacrificing that horse. He's doing a lot of work getting these archers down, but it's worth it because those are very, very expensive units, and Myriad has more access to the food right now. He knows that Don Artie is a little bit starved, and he's only getting spearmen right now, and that's probably because these guys are discounted where he's building them from. He's getting the archer upgrade too, but Don Artie, I feel like, is in a little bit of danger. Myriad has a lot of food left. He's perfectly chilling where he is right now. And let's go see if he starts picking up some of these relics with those Lancer control too.
I was gonna say, I think the reason why Don Artie was fine with that trade up there was because it distracted Myriad from checking on the boar in the corner. But man, those knights, okay, they're going straight for the base, but Don Artie does not trust in it. He's gonna build himself a little wooden haven in the corner.
That is the scaredest wooden villagers I've seen in a while. The poor boys are just putting themselves in a corner, a proper corner, to keep themselves safe. Ooh, and these archers are trying their best, but the lancers do pack a punch, and they do take a punch at that too. We see the scout being pulled to try and fight them now. The upgrades coming in from Myriad to just defend against those ranged attacks too. And the archers now getting their upgrades finally from Don Artie. But right now, Don Artie, he is the guy responding, and it doesn't feel like he has the resources to respond to everything.
He has absolutely no food to work with. Everything's going directly into units, but look at his income. He has 300 food per minute. Myriad has 1,000. And he's grabbing relics behind this. Oh, this is real rough. And is there a scout here? No. Well, that's a blessing at least. But Myriad's just gonna check from both sides of the wood line, sees the mill, sees the vills. It's a disaster!
Those are so expensive. We saw this happening earlier. Oh, and they're carrying so much food. They didn't even get to drop it off. He knows that it is what it is. Next one, Don Artie gonna try again to fight against the mighty Myriad.
Remember when I said super one-sided sushi games?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that one.
I believe you now. I believe you now. Now the question is it because it's sushi, or is it because Myriad is an absolute Chad at this?
I mean, when I just imagine his voice in my mind, there's no doubt here.
I don't know if that was supposed to be a Myriad impersonation,
no,
but I am going to erase that from my brain. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Guys, delete the VOD, please. We need this section muted.
It's gone. It's already gone. Thank you.
We can see what the amount of resources gathered here. The Myriad was in the lead for a while. It felt like Don Artie was okay with this, but he took more risks. And this just shows us why professional scouts pays off so well. The fact that Myriad was able to stop him from getting unlimited food just means that he was, going to be able to take it this far. And next up, we're going to have Delhi versus HRE. I get to see some HRE. Very nice. I'm excited about that. I just don't know if Don Artie is going to let him take the steering wheel. Myriad's a driver. This man's got to drive us to victory. I want to see Myriad doing well, especially this year, because I know how motivated he was about the game. And seeing him do that well in Sushi, yes, the matchup, but it's showing us that he has that ability. So let's see what Myriad can cook. He's deleting
the sushi game. Let's see. Yeah, I saw that striker tree disappear.
That
feels
too.
bad.
I do that too. He probably has a reason for it, though. He probably wanted to just put that thing into an optimal position and not waste too much walking time. He doesn't need them trees. He says he's got loads on the left side.
You know what? I'll give him that. It's fine. Don Artie, meanwhile, going for the classical 3-3 opening split. He has the sheep on the southern side of. I mean, I guess he just killed the initial one right below his TC. Usually, you'd want to move them up, and then the prelate doesn't have to move just as far. But yeah.
So,
as far as Delhi openings go, real quick, because we never actually touched on that, you open with the mill first, because the wheelbarrow is the more important upgrade, and then you put the mosque behind, because you're not gonna finish that second mosque upgrade in time for your age up anyway, so it doesn't really matter that you get the mosque just a little delayed.
But you do get an extra few seconds on that wheelbarrow when it does complete. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah. So with Don Artie here, like you said, it's pretty standard. I think we are going to need to see what the scouts tell us. And I would like us to see this from the scouts' perspective. What do they know? So the moment we go into feudal, we're definitely going to see the Arcane again, right? I don't think Don Artie cooks anything that spicy. But from Myriad...
I'd love it.
Oh, please, no.
Oh, you made wonderful things happen in my brain right now. Give me the mine work. Give me the pikes.
The pikes against the Ghazis? Not a bad idea.
It's not bad. It's just not super good. Here's the Aachen Chapel.
Okay, before you say anything, Twitch chat, I need you guys here. Can we get a rating on that Arcane Chapel? I don't want to be the person to rate it first. Guys, look at that chapel. Give it your rating. Twitch chat, we need your expertise here. What do we feel about that chapel right now? It's got a lot of wood. That's true. Shorkan gives it a solid 4. I mean, damn. Okay. Is it because of the wood? I guess the man says the wood is enough. That's all we needed. 2 out of 10. Cal, thank you for calling. Wow. Boy says 10 out of 10.
I'll confirm to the 4. It's a good feudal all-in chapel if you just go for the wood.
Do you think this spells what's going to happen for the next part of this game?
I mean, it spells that you're probably going to pro-scout deer on top of it and take a lot of wood from it. By the way, Dome of Faith coming up. No surprises there. Dome is, well, strictly speaking, probably still just a superior landmark because it allows you to snowball. And HRE not having these super fast pro scouts, well, it just enables you to contest that better, unlike against China.
I'm sorry, I have to go back and I have to ask Twitch chat, guys, can we get a scoring chart for chapels? Like, so a 10 out of 10, what would that be? I like that the breakdown here from Shorkan. No room for farms between Arcane and TC, only 1 res, so 4 out of 10. See, we need a score chart, and I feel like we could pull those bad boys up every single time, and we can be like, okay, this is what we're dealing with. But yes, with Pro Scouts, this doesn't seem as gloom and doom, so it could be okay. The question I have, and this is something I'll ask Don as well, or I'll probably won't ask Don, because Don probably just does whatever the vibe tells him to do. But I'll ask people who are better than me, why not just put it a little bit to the back so that you have stone included? Not that you're going to go for it anytime soon, but you also get more wood from the placement. And it's easy to defend with a tiny wall, but I think this is where the knowledge we need to learn goes in. But now, let's see what the next queue up is. He's going to wait for that wheelbarrow to finish. Double Broadaxe gets queued up for free. And now, Pro Scouts. Of course he does. The man is scouting. And we get a stable as well there from Mr. Myriad. And Don Artie goes for the barracks. And this is something I thought was going to be the only difference between these two. The barracks is going to allow you to deny some of the deer packs. It's going to create that spearman so that you can place it right on top. So I would like to see what Mr. Myriad does to that. Is he going to open with the Ghazi, or is he going to just start getting the scout numbers up high?
You always open Ghazi unless you're so far under pressure that you just cannot, I feel like. Or if you go up against English, maybe you open Blacksmith because you want that range defense in. So sweet. But yeah, you just want to have that pressure on the map. You just want to be able to put some pressure on the goal, put some pressure on potentially pro scouts. It just gives you more options.
Oh, and these
options. That's a nice option here.
The Spearman now going straight for the base. He knows that he's staying in Delhi. He knows this takes a little bit longer to actually get pro scouts done in the research. So getting that research done, he has time. He's just going to make more Spearmen. He's going to put them all around the map. And at the same time, he gets to shut down some upgrades. Or slow them down at least. Because I don't know if he's going to get this mining camp in time. But Delhi's upgrades, they pause. Twitch chat. Remember that. They don't get cancelled when the building gets cancelled.
Is Myriad just gonna try to deal with the spears here? I don't see an archer range just yet. Okay. And Don Artie does not pay attention. Charge comes in. Takes a little bit of damage here, and Myriad's just gonna pull back and heal back up.
Now he does have enough Ghazis to deal with this, but oof, getting a pickup like that, Don Artie. Oh, Don Artie.
Oh, good poke by the Don. Keep in mind, these spears move faster than your regular ones, but we get a TC connection, one goes down, and Myriad just seems to have enough units in a second to deal with them. Don knows it though. But damage is already done. The scouts are out for HRE, already pro-scouting away.
Yeah, Don definitely is in the driving seat here. We have 500 wood right now. I don't know what the man is deciding to do. He looks like he's he's putting everything onto food. He's
I think
like,
he
I'm
was
hungry.
deciding, well, I'm currently microing my spears as I pro scout away on the map. Oh, whoops, I have 600 wood. It happens. It happens
It
to
does,
me a
it
lot.
does. And then you make like 6 farms and you're like, okay, now I feel good about my split again. But the villager's now on gold. I think this is just going to be a fast castle from here because he does have the resources to actually get whatchamacallit. Oh my gosh, my brain stopped working. So he has the resources to actually get any production building he needs. Although it's not something I would typically want to do against Delhi because Delhi, they don't care about your fast castle. They will just overrun you with lots and lots of units. The spear does come out to poke a few of the boys, but now he sees there's a ton on gold. And I don't know, Don Artie might be like, oh yeah, now he knows. And Myriad, he can just keep being aggressive, keep getting the sacred sites, and take control of the game. So this is very risky for Don if he keeps trending towards castle.
So the scary thing for archery, by the way, we did not mention the archers that are out from Myriad right now. Needs to pay attention that he doesn't lose a whole lot of HP on the Ghazis here, otherwise he will not have any agency around the base. But looks like Don is just gonna overcommit these spears and lose them all. Oh no.
That is beautiful by Myriad, though. Did you see that micro? He was just pulling the low HP ones absolutely clean. And he doesn't have any scouts. He doesn't have any scouts for professional scouts, but professional scouts is coming.
This time it was you.
No. This is planned by him. He doesn't need scouts right now. He is just putting pressure. So I believe he should invest in scouts pretty soon, making sure that he shift clicks them on the rest of the map, because he probably does have enough food to sustain this for now. The sacred sites are important to him, so now getting his foot on top of those is going to be very, very key here. Very good.
Mr. Producer, can we get a quick overview of our sheep counts? Control Shift A.
There we go. Okay.
7 for Myriad, and we've got the Dawn with... Oh my... Well, that's a big old 0.
It's a big old 0, but it is a castle. And the thing is, Regnus is great, right? If your opponent doesn't have a million Ghazis on the map, which he does. So you're able to deny most of those relics as long as you keep a very stable head in this. Myriad now with his first scout going to slowly be picking up some deer. But to get the value from that, he's probably going to need to invest a little bit more to get the food home, because the longer he waits, the more Don gets. And the whole point is to starve Don. You want to delay Don. You want to force him to get... What is that thing called? You want to force him to get farms. Yes, farm transition. Yes. Oh my goodness. What's happening today? I'm crying.
Oh no, Myriad finds out all 3 scouts as they're leaving. And where are the Ghazis currently? 12 Ghazis on the map. I don't think these guys will make it home.
Yeah, but there's a lot more of those bad boys. He's got extras. The horseman are from Don Artie, straight on top of the archers. He knows what a horseman counters, and he's got his eyes set on him. Now, Myriad behind this, he just keeps making units. It doesn't look like he's treading towards castle anytime soon. He's like, I got the numbers, I got this. The problem is, Don is making knights. He's not making stuff that you can handle with the units that you've got. So his main job is going to need to be to deny relics, and I don't know if he's going to be able to keep track of this once those knights arrive on top of him. He doesn't have any spearmen to handle them. He is going to need to be careful.
I mean, 11 Ghazis can still handle 2 knights. That's quite... Oh my god, I don't know about this dive, Don. This just seems like an oversight here. He's going to lose those for free, unfortunately.
And that kind of puts Myriad again in a pretty good position. And now, as we see, he's just running straight into them.
This is a horrible fight for Don. He's gonna lose these knights just like that. These high-value units, archers are here to deal with the spears. Myriad just needs to pay attention that he doesn't get poked too much. And still, 33 to 8 military units. Don has 1 relic on the way right now. It's still not secured though. And as far as food goes, well, most of his scouts just died. So I don't know how many he has left under his TC there as far as deer go. I don't think it's going to be a whole lot.
Now the Lancers are starting to become a little bit annoying, and he is targeting them to die down. So they do get a little bit more value, I was going to say, and then apparently just jinxed it yet again. They do take down a few Ghazis, but Don doesn't have unlimited resources, like we said. He's getting those relics, second relic on the way. Oh, Maria doesn't realize. Is he going to be able to move his boy back? He realizes, but does he?
Now he should see him.
He's going to try and stop him, but now Don Artie already getting one relic is surprising in all this. So I'm really glad to see. Ooh, are we reacting, Mr. Myriad? Yes,
we're reacting, but there's 3 knights on the way. I think this relic is safe home. So it's 2 relics for the Don right now, and Myriad's about to go to Castle Age himself. He did add in some spears, but then decided not to commit to feudal.
Yeah, Myriad now going to castle himself, he's going to already have a pretty solid position when it comes to picking up the rest of the relics, but there are knights on the map. And your spearmen, they're getting out of Dark Age soon, but they're going to take a while before they're a match for these guys. And you can see, Ghazis, they're trying. Spearmen are trying.
Good
there we go.
There, but the number of units here, the number of 5 knights, Myriad needs to run. He cannot take this fight at all. Especially the archers should just not be here, and men-at-arms just don't have an answer right now. House of Learning, though, about to finish. I think we're going to see some crossbows and more spears on the map, as well as Delhi Knights.
To get them out pretty quickly. And we can see here, they're moving forward, and it feels like Myriad is
I don't know about
overwhelmed right now. Oh, the archers are coming, but crossbows are queued up. No archer upgrade needed, he says. I need crossbows. Archers are barely going to do anything already. Just trying to move them, trying to do damage. We do still have food coming towards the base of Myriad, and all of a sudden, this is a very, very, very scary position for Myriad to be in. He is making crossbows, he is making men-at-arms himself, but we know an HRE men-at-arm, it just hits differently.
Crossbow numbers, though, are decent, and Don Artie, I don't think he should commit these units here. It's just going to lose them all to the crossbows. But numbers are still okay for him, and he's getting that 3rd relic in now. So as far as that goes, Don Artie actually looking very much alive, and I had not expected that. If we quickly pan over to his base, how are we looking for food?
What food?
What food? He's eating the berries, and other than that, there's not a whole lot left. He has a boar at the top side that he could potentially go for, but it's scary.
Yeah, the problem is...
Sorry.
I feel like Don Artie, now again, he went a little bit too deep and overextended and lost a few units that he could use to fight off the counter push coming now from Myriad. Because now, if he had those units, the farm transition would be less scary. But right now, he's like, oh, I need to make stuff. But your food has run out completely. Oh, and Myriad losing a few of the boys at the back here. And Don Artie...
And the Don is on the boar without a mill.
He is distance boring right now. And Don Artie...
God, come on, Myriad, what are you doing? Not again. He always does it. He reacts to the raid, and then he leaves his vills there. He knows it's there, he just does not commit. I don't know if there's units on the way to deal with it and they're just not arriving. It's 14 dead vills. Yeah, I think Myriad might just be dead.
14 dead vills, yes. Very, very scary. Keeping in mind this is Delhi. I believe they do have comeback mechanics in terms of villagers, but it's going to be a lot of comeback mechanic needed. And yes, it's 14 vills, but keeping in mind Don Artie has been long distance mining on that boar, so he has had idle villagers this whole time as well. That's it, the boys are going to flank. They're going to flank. Now, he is looking for going outside a little bit. He knows that there's a second goal there in the corner, which is quite safe. Don Artie now, the man with a plan. He's switching to horsemen. He knows that there are crossbows. He knows he cannot take the crossbows, so he gets horsemen instead.
Landsknecht horseman combination is gonna be real nice with some added men-at-arms for tankiness. If he can get a good connection, Myriad's army is gonna be in for a bad time. But Myriad has full vision here. he's gonna take the fight.
This does look like an okay connection, but the front line was there. The men-at-arms are doing their work. Now this is going to depend. Oh, the Lunchknecht are doing work, but he's target firing them pretty quickly. The crossbows, remember, crossbows base damage did get nerfed, so it does make it a little bit harder to fight the horsemen. And it does look like it's going
not a
Don's
good
way.
time for green. No, green. Well, you know, that used to be a Delhi army right there. That used to be a whole lot of crossbows. Now they're all dead.
And now that 14 villager kill raid thing he had earlier was it's showing now, because now he cannot come back too quickly. Although with these spearmen, they are impaling the horses, making some barbecue sticks here. He says with those spears, but the Lunchknecht are here to fight the melee units themselves, and more will go down. But honestly, it looks like Myriad is in a lot of trouble right now, eh?
Oh, he's so far behind economically right now. He had that thing going for him before he lost the 15 vills, and then he had the other thing going for him with the 20 crossbows that he could have potentially made something work with, but Don counters him beautifully. Just going for that full surround with the melee units, and he gets it.
And just like this, Don Artie now with his horseman commit, Myriad is not sure how to respond to this. He's getting all his Arts of Learning upgrades. Everybody's studying really hard right now. But I think they're going to need to study a lot more if they're going to plan on surviving this. Myriad, he is getting spears, but the Lunchknecht are doing an amazing job as being part of this mix. Now, I have the question, and the question is, are we going to be seeing farm transition from Don? We do see a little farm transition. We see a little bit of an edge of the farms. Very, very nice.
It's already happening, and he's still on the board. He has 1,300 food per minute. Okay, it's slowly going down right now. Maybe the board just ran out. But the question is he just gonna run away with the game towards Imperial right now? He has that option. He has 3 relics in his Regnits. He's living the best life. And a Landsknecht raid on the berries in the back. Gets cleaned up this time by Myriad.
He does not want to lose too many more, but a few more did go down. So this keeps happening for Mr. Myriad. Poor Mr. Myriad is trying his best to keep being alive, but it's just so hard to keep these vills alive when there are raids everywhere. Now with the horseman numbers here from Don Artie, this is going to get scarier and scarier. I think Myriad needs to make some magical play here, because right now HRE is just doing what they do best. Sit back, relax, and farm transition, make 1,000,000 units, and have a great economy behind it.
Unfortunately, that is very true. And Myriad's food situation is not particularly great himself. He has 500 food per minute. He does not have that farm transition, I don't think. And yeah, Don, never mind. He's getting there. He's getting there. But, well, we still have inspired villagers of 63 against 45 Delhi vills that do have the hardy rations, but it's just not the same. They don't have God.
No, with the upgrades coming in, I feel like Myriad is probably going to wait for that bad boy to kick in before we get a fight. He definitely needs to do something about the crossbow masses as well. The problem is Don Artie has everything he needs to take on a fight with Myriad. Myriad now, his army... Well, he's about to find the farms. He's about to find a lot of idle vills. And he's about to get more victims here. Beautiful surround as well. You can see those spearmen trying to claim a few victims, but that's just a bunch of idle villagers running for their lives. And again, walls did not prevail here. We needed to make sure that the horsemen stay in their own base, but right now these villagers are spooked. They're in the TC and they don't want to come out.
Keep in mind, guys, that military count at the top is misleading, because 13 of those are scholars.
Oh, and the villagers keep running. The poor boys, they're exhausted from all of this. Myriad, when do you pull the plug? Let the boys rest and try again in the next one. Now, Don is sitting back. He's getting his upgrades. He's just raiding. He's running around with the horses, knowing he's keeping those spearmen occupied. The villagers on their toes. And I feel like Myriad here is just hoping that he can do some damage to the army.
He needs to. He needs to. Don Artie just needs to momentarily fall asleep on his sofa or his couch. And, well, then 19 spears just walk all over those horsemen. Unfortunately, there's auto-attacking Landsknecht behind this, so it's kind of hard.
I don't really think that there's an answer for this at the moment, though, because even if you have a mangonel, those horses are going to be able to get on top of it pretty quickly. Now, this is where Myriad needs to turn around and impale. He needs to do as much damage as he can while kiting backwards, because if you take this fight at the front, like you said, the Landsknecht are there. So, kite backwards, he does pull them back, he does protect his crossbows with his spears.
Good focus fire on the Landsknecht, they're all dead now. So no more AoE damage, and these spears. Now spears are a really good answer against the combination of horsemen and crossbows. They do well against all of this. Just not when the Landsknecht are around, and they're not.
Yeah, this was a beautiful fight by Myriad. He peeled back for his units. The spears are surrounding perfectly. And this is exactly the homework I need everyone in Twitch chat to write down right now. Make your two control groups, have your spears, kite for your backline, and the elephants are joining as well. So with an elephant now, this does make it look a lot more fun. So who knows? The elephant may carry us to victory.
Trickling. This is a really bad fight actually for him. He can, like, the thing is, he can move back anytime he wants. Myriad has the forced march that he can trigger if he got the upgrade already. I don't know. Mr. Producer, do we have a forced march on those units?
What is forced march, please?
You hit the button and your units just start running. It's amazing. It feels so good to play like that. But, well, Myriad doesn't like it. He queued it up late and it's only now researching. But yeah, that was an amazing fight for him. Getting rid of the Landsknecht and then just spears connecting to horseboys.
Maybe he's just a respectful human being who doesn't deserve or who doesn't want to use activated abilities like that to chase down armies. Oh my gosh, because that explains so many of my games that I have not understood why Delhi caught up. Twitch chat, I hope we all learned something today about Delhi. They do have a speed boost. Very nice. Now everything makes sense.
And cannoneers get it too.
No, don't say stuff like that. But now with Myriad, he has one elephant. He's not tacking in, I say tacking, but he's not investing in anymore. With the amount of resources he has, though, I'm thinking we might get some siege. You do have a lot of wood. You could farm transition. You could, get a little bit of siege. Get to that back line with a mangonel shot. Or, as we know, people love to get some spring ults. I just don't think he has the units to peel for them just yet.
See, the thing is, this time around, Don is actually making his own spears as we see another horseman raid in the back. Myriad is already on the case. And this time it was the same thing again. He ignores the raid because he sent a unit there. Usually he's losing a will for it. Mm-hmm. I've seen it so many times. This time it worked. Thank you, Adam. You did great. But
now,
are you excited to see that extra spear damage against elephants?
I don't know if there really will get an opportunity for it. That elephant is ranged. He does not need to stand on top of the spears. Elephant, you hear that? Yes, he does. And he's going to try to take this from the range. But it feels like Don Artie just has too much here. Because as we can see here, we saw the scholars. The scholars count as part of the army. And this army is quite scary. We do see a lot of dead horses on the ground, though. And the crossbows, they are pushing back. Apparently, Don Artie's army was not strong enough. And the prelates, they're just healing this elephant. This elephant is doing amazing work right now, sniping everything he sees. But definitely absorbing a lot of the damage. And I think that's maybe what makes them also so difficult to deal with. You do struggle to take them down, and they do stand there at the front and absorb all your hits.
Yeah, I feel like the healing also played quite a big role there, because Don had mostly spears. He had some Landsknecht in there. Myriad didn't really focus them out too quickly, but they still died. And in melee versus melee fights, if you don't have like cheating units like Landsknecht or maybe 23 crossbows that just one-shot things, then healing is amazing.
Now, the keeps are going to start being placed around the map. We're going to start to see villagers going up here for Mr. Myriad. We're going to start getting these sacred sites under proper protection. And this is going to cause a little bit of a slowdown. Don Artie, I feel like he missed this Imperial Age timing. There was a time when Myriad was just on the back foot, and Don gave him the time he needed to let those free upgrades kick in and actually do the work. Then we're getting another keep here in the middle, which is so important, because it's not just about getting it on the sacred site. it also protects that big gold. And once you have control of that big gold, it is so hard to actually stay up to date, because Don Artie, he's gonna need some gold pretty soon.
I mean, you're saying that there was a window for Don Artie to just finish the game. I agree, actually, but that one horrible fight he took, and now the second one that he also lost quite a bit, didn't really feel great for him. But if you look at the food income, Myriad still has some catching up to do on the economy part. There's 2,200 food per minute for Don. He can pump so many more units than Myriad right now. Even if he loses every single fight, he can still just make more army right now.
And we see what's happening exactly with that elephant now. The elephant went down, and all of a sudden, things are getting a little bit harder here.
There's no more front line. These crossbows are super exposed. Myriad needs to get this keep up, and I'm not sure he will. Is there any... Oh my god, there's a Landsknecht next to the vills.
And he's doing amazing work. They're just slicing and dicing right through them, and it feels like this greedy little keep just may have
all the
cost
vills
him
are dead.
the game.
No! 29 dead villagers. We do have more elephants here. Do we have more frontline? Yes, there is some more spears, and we also have just that amount of backline. I think Myriad just bit off too much. If this keep goes up, he's fine. He's not.
He pulled more wills. He decided it's not worth it. The thing is, if he did not have a greedy keep like this, he could have possibly just he could have caught up with the villagers. And now, he's in a tough spot. He's in a very tough spot. And these Landsknecht are doing amazing work at keeping him there. The problem is now there's no unit he can make to actually take this down, except for a mangonel or a siege unit. Yeah. You hear me, Myriad?
Or like 3 or 4 of them, preferably. He's making men-at-arms. Yes, these are the honed blade men-at-arms, but there's 27 crossbows.
That poor siege workshop has not had its units pumped out at all. The poor guy, he was made, he was left, and Myriad says, don't worry, I'll sort it out next game. Don Artie looks like he's going to be taking this game. And I said earlier, he missed his Imperial Age timing, but now he's just going to take the game. He's like, okay.
Imperial what?
Oh,
never heard of it.
Don Artie? Don Artie doesn't do Imperial? Oh no, he's a respectful young man.
Yeah, well, we do have the House of Luring. Oh, I kind of had hoped that we had some villagers in houses, but I think Myriad is just meditating, probably smoking if we're being realistic.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, Myriad is a very avid smoker, and he will smoke every single time there's an opportunity presented. And I can imagine once he gets mid-game and it gets too long, he's like, okay, I just need to top up. But you can see here, Don Artie, he got more food, he got more wood, he got more gold. He was doing fine. Even though he didn't have access to all the big gold mines, he didn't have access to the full base, his raids paid off. And I think Myriad is going to learn from this, and he's going to put some walls up against the man next game. Because Don Artie's raids, he just showed that you can't mess with the Don. Yeah. And Kiliardi and Cat, we're still going to see how that one plays out. But Cat definitely has a chance to qualify here. My question is just, are all our outside players going to be able to get visas in time? Because we cannot go to the LAN and then we have Cat stuck at the border. Guys, you better get your visas and get to the LAN.
Please get your visas. It will be awkward to invite someone a day before that made second place. Anyway,
luckily,
we are on
European.
ETC Lippany. That's real lucky. For some of us at least. Sorry, Marek. Anyway, we've got Myriad in the Sovereign Spawn playing as the Malians, and he's gonna face off against Orange Don Artie. Guys, Orange versus Red, really? Do I need to enforce colors?
Okay, we just need to say it was supposed to be Red versus Orange, but this is kind of Red versus that wall. This is the weirdest Lippany generation I've seen today, and I've played Lippany 3 times today. So
it's HSC Lippany, actually, so it should be better. It's just not.
This is a very interesting spawn here, because you have a very good natural wall that you can get there for Myriad. Myriad has a very nice juicy spot where he can get his trade even go. I know we're not going trade, guys.
My.
That gold is safe. that wall is protecting him from being able to sneak right into the DMs.
Did
So
I need to just say it. Do you see that Dark Age Rex for Abbasid? Isn't it beautiful? I'm so happy this is happening.
it's going to be countered by that wall, isn't it? By the natural cliff that is holding it hostage. But we'll see. With the amount of wood I see just spent from Myriad, I don't know if he's going for barracks himself.
I am unfortunate. Never mind. There is a barracks going up right now. He scouted it.
There's a tiny opening. You can climb up the hill. Very nice.
Goat pass. The goat pass for the goat. I love it. And Don Artie thinks his barracks has not been scouted out just yet. He's not going to commit towards the pit mine.
With the Donzos coming here from Myriad, this is very important in Myriad's head to just make sure that you're able to use your ranged attack. Making sure that you go in, use the ranged attack, move back. Because when you commit to this and you lose HP, you're just putting yourself at the disadvantage. And right now, Don Artie has invested quite a lot. But we need to see if Myriad is, if Myriad is scouting whether there's going to be more of these, but it doesn't look to be the case. He's making more, but the spearmen have backed off. And it does look like Don Artie is going towards feudal himself.
Yeah, Don Artie sees the barracks and knows, well, Donzos are actually just better spears because they have 1 melee armor, and it actually matters in these Dark Age fights. And then you also have the spear toss, which is amazing. So you can't really win that fight because you're also producing from the other side of the map across, well, a lot of mountain ranges, apparently. The only good thing that it's going for him is Myriad only built 2 houses in his pit mine.
Yeah, right now that does delay his gold a little bit, but he still has enough. He still has enough gold to be okay here. But now, these Donzos, again, they need to be careful. Oh, the scout also did not drop off the sheep. This village is idle next to the TC right now, and he realizes. So, with these guys, he doesn't need to make any more, and I think Myriad realizes this too. Oh, I say that, and I was completely wrong. I cursed him again. Myriad now going for another Donzo, just wanting to get those numbers ahead of Don Artie. But yeah. Don Artie is ready for the age up. And now the question is, what is Don Artie going to cook? Because Don Artie doesn't conform to the meta. Are we seeing eco-wing? Are we seeing
military.
Wood? Military. Okay, military. Makes sense.
I'm locking in military because Myriad is already committing. He already has... There's the military wing. He already has units out, and you will not be able to get to your second TC or pretty much anything of outside resources if you don't go military wing here.
Yeah, so this opens up the rest of the game to him. I'm sitting here learning as well. Myriad now, he also needs to start aging up, and we need to think about what is next for Myriad here. Because as Malians, usually you now need to respond to what Abbasid does. If Abbasid is pulling off and he's going for stone, you know, okay, I need to probably make a play around that. So we'll see now if, is the game frozen or is it me? Oh, it's me! Oh my goodness!
No, it's the Discord stream. It's just cow things.
Okay. Norwegian internet. I hear it's the worst in the world.
It's actually one of the best in the world, and I feel... Honestly, the cabin we were at had better internet, mobile internet, than I have at home. So, you know.
Oh, yeah, the German... Oh, my goodness. I remember the one year we went to Gamescom, and we wanted to stream from there. And it was impossible because the data just kept dropping. So shout out to Germany, all in all. Cal is getting the stream up so we can start commentating on the game again. And Monsaquari coming up, military wing from Don Artie. I like that with Monsaquari, he's aging up with 6, which is a little bit more than usual because he knows that his age up was a little bit delayed. Don Artie invested a little bit less into the Dark Age, but now with the military wing coming out, Myriad might need to move back. Otherwise, he's going to lose these guys, and if he does, this just snowballs from there.
B actually made an argument for 6 to 7, I believe, if I remember correctly. Villagers to age up with the quarry because it gives you so many resources. It's actually worth it to commit to it earlier, so you get your upgrades faster. It's just the snowball from there. I'm curious to see how many houses Myriad has on his pit mine right now, though.
Myriad should be stacking their pit mine fully at this point, but the problem is now responding to this huge amount of units flooding towards him. And it's actually pretty crazy to think that those 5 spearmen that he had initially is now 9 and going to be 4 archers. Him getting a stable means that he's going to go professional scouts. And while that's fine, right? It's not completely fine when your opponent is investing in making army. You need to also be able to get units that deal with this army. And right now he's losing those Donzos. That's the only army he has. And if he loses that, he is going to be in so much trouble. But at the same time, he's keeping this busy. So maybe just delaying it a little bit. The scouts should be able to pick up 1 or 2 deer. But is this going to be enough for him to outlast this?
Myriad sees the amount of units that Don has here. I'm hoping and assuming that he's also gonna scout around the base right now. And he knows he needs to react to this. Is he though? Right now we only see warrior scouts. We see 1 Donzo in queue.
More scouts. It feels like he's prioritizing the fact that scouts are bringing the deer back. But we are going to need to get an archer. The archer range is coming back up. Really, really important to have that archer range. Getting a few of those javelin throwers out is going to make this a lot easier for him. The scout right now is just killing deer. He's not picking up. I say that, and he goes and picks up the next one. And this is just because the upgrade wasn't through just yet. But now with 5 scouts, he's going to be able to pump a lot of food back to base. The problem is just there's 8 archers coming towards you and 10 spearmen at that.
Yeah, Myriad's definitely behind, but he can also go for the other side. He already is. There's 2 red dots moving from the northern deer camp towards his base. So he's already covering from that. Thing is, he's gonna be behind on military for quite a long while because Don Artie is hard committing here. And the
Don Artie,
super flammable.
He's getting horsemen too. So these javelin throwers that he's getting, they're going to be fine until there's something to absorb the damage or the damage from the TC that they're about to dive. And he might just lose that archery range too, which is his only main source of production right now. The Donzos not moving in numbers, only javelin throwers. And we see survival techniques coming out too. And Don Artie is already ready to get inside your base.
Sorry, I had another human here crawling up. But let's take a look at those ranks. I'm kind of surprised that Don goes for the production first. But, I mean, Myriad is behind on the military count by quite a bit. He's hard committing into only javelins, which is a good choice in my books. Don is countering by going into more horsemen. But, yeah, if he gets rid of this archery range, Myriad will have to remake another one in the back. That's also going to be very expensive. If he goes for the pit mine instead, that's behind the base. That's super exposed and very risky.
Oh, he's using select all army hotkey as well. You can see that scouts are bringing the deer forward. This is slowing down the whole army. And you can see that select all army has been chosen, and that's the only reason these scouts are carrying the deer carcasses forward. This is...
He'd love to drop those off, but he needed the front line.
I think this is a select all army situation, and because I know because I do this. I select all army and then I carry my carcasses everywhere because it just keeps happening. You're overwhelmed. You're like, oh, I just need all my units. Where are all my units? And
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I watched Myriad play a lot, standing right next to him and breathing into his ear. Okay, that sounded weirdly.
Yes.
Anyway, I don't think it was an all-army situation. I think he just deliberately chose to go for that front line. And holy shit, we have so many warrior scouts.
With the amount of warrior scouts, he is going to have a pretty solid front line in terms of absorbing these archer boys who are just looking to kill things. But now the javelin numbers are quite scary. And he is getting +1 on them as well. So he should be able to eventually also target fire the horses and take them down pretty quickly. But Don Artie is looking at castle, by the way. He's looking at castle and he's staring at it right in front in the face. And Myriad has not started his cow transition just yet.
He has a lot of safe food now. He got both deer packs completely, so that's real nice for him. And 11 Jeff sets him up nicely. But we have Don playing a 1 TC Abbasid into fast. I mean, let's just call it slow castle.
Responsible castle, I like to say.
Responsible castle is nice.
Responsible, he made units, he was aggressive, he counted his blessings, and then he pulled back because he's responsible. Now, with Don Artie's army, though, he's not making more. Myriad is still making more, and economic wing coming out now, it doesn't provide you with a massive bonus the moment you hit it. And I feel like this could be the downfall for Don Artie. Myriad definitely getting the deer he needed, though.
I think it's the one play he has to make with the Eco Wing. Okay, he still has food at home. It's not about the farms. It's about getting equal with the Malian economy that is already ahead of you. Even though you have Golden Age, they have pro-scouted a lot of deer on the map. They have passive income through the pit mines. And you don't know that yet, that they don't have cows, but they're going to be adding in some. So you need to get even somehow.
And the only way that most people usually get even is they go for a second TC. But it feels like when you go for a second TC this late, the Malians is a very good opening to actually counter you here. Now, the scouts do need to run away here, but at the same time, Myriad is putting a little bit more pressure all around. He does not kill a villager there, but again, it's just that type of pressure he needs to slow it down and make sure that he picks off things as much as possible.
Good catch on those spears. Takes out 2. And the gold is denied for now. So Don has about 500 gold to work with once he hits Castle Age. And Myriad right now, he doesn't have anything to deal with Gulam. He doesn't really... I mean, 18 javelins will eventually take down a Castle Age man-at-arm. Eventually.
Yeah. The problem I think here is that Don Artie, he's not going to be able to go back on that gold as long as that army is there. So the army is around... And there's no safe gold for him. The safe gold is to the north, and that will easily get spotted. So Don Artie, he's getting the upgrades he can, but there's no gold that he is like, oh, this is my backup. I'm okay. So I don't think that Myriad knows this. Oh, and the corral comes down. Those 3 cows are going to be as inspired as you get. But at the same time, Myriad's playing it safe and pulling back. This might give Don Artie that opening to go back on the gold and get the upgrades he needs.
I love those motivated cows. I wish we had one too. Anyway, where were we? Don Artie going for armored units, as you'd expect, right into castle. We have 1 knight, 1 gulam out, more gulams in production, and he's going for the archer play. And immediately getting the steeled arrow in, actually. So I am expecting to see the composite bow upgrade following shortly.
He's now going back onto gold as well. He realizes, oh, the boys aren't here. I actually do get to go back on my gold, but it does mean that all his units are still feudal, except for the Gulams and obviously the Lancer. They are born castle, unfortunately for Mr. Myriad. But Myriad now getting his upgrades pretty quickly. He doesn't have a lot of gold to handle because he is making those cows at the same time, but quickly the food should start ticking, and it's going to be worth it for Myriad the longer this goes. Now, Don behind this is not going for a second TC. Like I said, he's just making units. And this is usually a really tough position for anyone to be in when you know the Malians is getting all that free food from the cow economy.
They're just getting ahead, and you know it. But Don deciding, well, I am going to just end this game. I am going to go and do damage. And my opponent is not gonna expect it and commit to a cow boom and be greedy on a 3rd pit mine. And right now, I'm not sure it's working out just the way he likes, but he is having 29 composite bow archers that are about to be veteran.
With those upgrades kicking in, this does become a very different game, because Myriad also doesn't have the +2 upgrades for himself. So he could possibly queue those bad boys up, but he's getting a few sofas instead and doing that archer switch. Now, the archer sofa switch is what we're seeing mostly out of Malians, and that is key here, right? We need to make sure that our armies are quite stacked here. Poison arrows not being clicked yet, but it should be a choice pretty soon, I would say.
It's very expensive.
Yeah, and you would rather get the +2, eh? If you get the +2, or get a lot of sofas, which seems to be his choice as well. Now,
Poison archers it is.
Never mind. I cursed it again.
Okay, Myriad did have a scout there, so he sees Don's army and he immediately pulls back.
Yeah, the problem with Don's army is he knows he's fully invested every single resource into this army. Myriad, though, He's invested a little bit into the cows. He needs to give it some time to play off. And we can see with the food per minute now, Myriad, if our producer may be so kind to click on the how many villagers are on a resource thing, we might be able to see...
It's gonna be depressing.
14 and versus 20, and he's got half the food income from Myriad just because of those cows. So now Myriad is still snacking on deer, still getting free resources. He's probably okay with taking this fight, just defensively. Just for a few more minutes, and then he's going to be a lot more confident.
It's 45 archers. I kind of expected Don to bank a little bit of wood and drop a mangonel just before he pushes, but he's just going to go for the pit mine here. And maybe stall just for a little bit? Are we going to see a ram? Are we going to see some siege at all? Or is this it? Full commit.
So, the Sofa coming in to the front there in the front line. You want to make sure that your Sofas are on the archers. He knows this, with the spearmen ready to kite for them too. But the javelin throwers seem to be they were target firing for a while, and they were doing pretty well. But he needs to be careful. He needs to peel back, and he needs to let that TC do some work too. The poison arrows also do really well when they get to tick. So now we need to see if Myriad can sustain this army and keep producing. He has a lot of scouts joining the party as well. With the spearmen at the front line, this is his last piece of front line for Don Artie. This means the javelins are going to be able to get to the back, and he's going to need to target fire those boys down so we don't get any overkill. And Myriad seems to be pushing back now. We can see on Don Artie's side, he spent every bit of resource trying to max out these, and Myriad is pretty much okay. Getting relics behind this as well.
He survived that. I am as surprised as the neck guy, but yeah, Myriad just having enough mass there just to survive it. He was suffering from the age-old Malian problem that, well, they just don't have an armored front line. So archers just rip through everything, but when you burn all of your warrior scouts and you have some javelins to tank there, I guess you're fine. Oh my god, where are those builds going?
They are going to build something, and they don't know where they're going or how close they are to danger. But luckily, Myriad doesn't know either. So with the
Don
Musafadis...
is committing, and I am kind of thinking this might be his last hurrah. But then again, these are composite bow archers. They do a lot of damage, and javelins have the problem. Their attack speed is so slow if you look at it. Yes, they do counter ranged. Yes, they do bonus damage, but if you shoot with more than 6 of them on one archer, you're gonna overkill by like a mile.
And then you're just stuck wasting damage. Now, those villagers, they did move around without getting spotted. Don Artie is the only one with villager kills right now, but the army value speaks for itself in a way. We can see Myriad is just... He's drowning in army. He's starting to get that so far composition done well. The food per minute still holding strong for him, and for Don Artie, that is limited.
Yeah, Myriad just has 1,000 more resources per minute in total, and this is talking about Abbasid. That's not really something you usually expect to just get completely outboomed, but this is a 1 TC Abbasid that tried to kill you.
Now with the Sofas here, focusing on those, the numbers are gonna start to matter, and Don Artie is about to realize this. You were able to kill the Sofas with your composite bow archers for a while, but soon enough, there's just going to be too many of them. And right now, he's just trying to find the formation that works best, not kiting backwards, and that's just going to mean he's losing quite a lot. Now, the Musafadis between them definitely helping take down these Ghulams as well, and the archers are just not able to target fire them because there's so much going on.
Spears have arrived, but it's just not matching up. I mean, Don Artie is 2 vills ahead right now, but he is 20 cows behind, I am assuming. Oh my lord, this is rough. And keep in mind, Myriad could actually just drop down a TC right now, because Malian TCs are cheaper.
And they do not cost any bit of stone. We do get +2 range defense as well. And all of a sudden, Myriad is now just on 5 relics. He's gonna be in such a good position. Yeah, for gold. I mean, the man, I don't even think he has anything to spend it on right now. The food is struggling to keep up with the sofa production, but 5 more sofas in queue. And the cows have not been maxed out. They have been maxed out. Some extra ranches for good vibes. Sofas now on top of the army. And the spearmen, they go down so quickly. Even the Musafadis, dealing with them pretty well.
Look at those archers shooting the imported armor so fast. It just feels bad. They do so little damage.
Yeah, sofas right now are just the game-winning decision here. And those villagers that we saw at the front line now, they have had to move. And the problem is they don't really have farms or anything they can fall back on. They are pretty starved. We can see that food per minute plummeting now. Everything plummeting for Don Artie, because now it's just going to be more and more risky. Now, I remember back in the day, what counted Malians was, with Abbasid, just building a mangonel and hoping it falls on the back line. But when you have this amount of sofas, that becomes hard too.
Yeah, there's a total of 6 spears and 2 crossbows right now to deal with those sofa. It's just not happening. I think Myriad might just have done it. And, well, it's no longer an Abbasid favorite matchup, apparently.
Myriad showing us that you just need to balance that economy, make units, cause a destruction, and give problems. And Don Artie, he was the receiver of problems today. Definitely showed us how to play some of these matchups very creatively. But Myriad reigning supreme, and he is going to be our Malian king going into the next round.
GG's. Yeah, I mean, Don got unlucky because the gold was all the way in the back there. He would have needed to go all around. If the gold is in front and the pit mine is super vulnerable, I feel like this plays out a little differently. But yeah. Well played by Myriad. He just kept calm and collected. There was the big fight where Don hard committed and he still won.
So, are we any closer to seeing some of those crazy other matchups that we were wondering? I'm thinking if it hits my brain right now, we had some other very, very close ones. Myriad Don, pretty closely matched. Myriad showing he can do it. Ilalu, as we would quote him. And I love that economy count, the little dotted line that Couch just showed us. I guess that's for the economy with the cows instead.